Yo, just so you understand it, this is Coach Carvel Bailey's program with the spirit of Bob Hambry.
This is Blessed of All, helping athletes, and we represent. Study your craft, your mentality leads to excellence. It's all about your mindset. We'll never stop addressing this, so be positive and not a pessimist. Confidence took James Harden higher. If you really want it, it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard as carbon fiber, but we got you. From counseling to workshops, we do it. You'll go farther with a scholarship. We'll help you get recruited. Yo, anyone can dribble and shoot, but it's the ones who study basketball internally that make it to Duke University. Knowledge goes around. The game is played from the neck up and not from the shoulders down. This is Blessed of Ball, helping you with obstacles. The athletes are the rocket. Blessed of Ball is the rocket fuel. If you hit a wall, we can help you slowly climb it. So keep a Mamba mentality like Kobe Bryant.
Blessed of Ball.
Cherish the opportunities that you have.
Blessed of Ball.
Use your mentality to master the craft.
Blessed of Ball.
Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play.
Blessed of Ball.
Cherish the opportunities that you have.
Blessed of Ball.
Use your mentality to master the craft.
Blessed of Ball.
Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Yo, Coach Carvel Bailey. Hey, listen to your coach, man. He ain't no scrub off the street. That man got credentials, academic and street. Believe it, and my name is Strategic.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing? This is Coach Carvel Bailey. I want to welcome you to another episode of Lunch and Learn today. So on today's show, and let me know where you're checking in from. Take this hat off so that you can see me clearly. Let me know what city and state you're checking in from today. But in today's video, today's class, I want to talk about, the three things, Three things that coaches look for in athletes, specifically point guards, Three things that coaches look for in point guards. And I want to make sure that you know, does your athlete have these three things, So again, let me know what city and state that you checking in from, but I want to make sure that you know, does your athlete have these three things? Now when coming, AAU season, spring season, summer season is coming up, but does your athletes have these three things that coaches are looking for when they're going out looking at athletes, So first and foremost, I want you to understand that there is a major difference. There is a major difference in somebody scouting, and somebody evaluating, and somebody recruiting. Those are three totally different things, To scout an athlete is one thing. To evaluate an athlete is another thing. And to recruit an athlete is something totally different, So a lot of times parents may not know the difference in those three. Oh, you see a coach. Well, that coach may not be recruiting an athlete right now. They may just be there scouting, seeing what's in the gym, what's in the facility. Sometimes coaches have already scouted. Then another coach may come and now they're doing some evaluations, They're evaluating talent to be able to see, is that talent worth then recruiting, So don't get it twisted. Don't be miseducated. Don't be sent off to where you think that, we're going to play in these tournaments and coaches are recruiting. Well, before coaches start recruiting, they're scouting, then they're evaluating, and then they move to recruiting. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, just drop a one wherever you may be watching this. Just let me know that makes sense. Scout, evaluate, recruit. It works that way. Coach is not coming in just immediately recruiting. All right. They've done those other two things prior to that. But I want to make sure that you know, does your athlete have these three things? So when coaches are in the gym and they are now scouting, they are now evaluating, and it gets to the point to where they're recruiting, It's three things that most, damn near all, point guards and other athletes should definitely have, if they want to get in the eyesight, if they want to get on the minds of coaches and be able to improve themselves. And so the first thing is coaches want to be able to see that an athlete knows the game of basketball. All right, know the game of basketball. So, you can type that in the chat if you're taking notes, right? I always have my notes, but you should have, as a parent and your athlete should have a spiral, some type of spiral notebook to where they're always taking notes. But the first thing that coaches want to know, right? Coaches are looking for, does your athlete know the game of basketball? And so what does know the game of basketball means, right? Do they know what a layup is versus a jump shot? Do they know what a mid-range is as opposed to a three-pointer? When I was a coach in high school, on the sophomore level, I would always cut players that didn't know what a three-man weave was. Does that make sense? So if you're a sophomore and you've played elementary school, junior high, and freshman year of high school, and now we get to sophomore year and you don't know what a three-man weave is, I say thank you, but no thank you. So coaches want to be able to see, does your athlete know the game of basketball? Does that make sense? Right? And so after they are able to find out and uncover if your athlete knows the game of basketball, now they want to find out, does your athlete understand the game of basketball? I know you might be thinking like, well, that's the same thing, right? Like, that's like, what are you saying? That's really, no, it's not. It's not the same thing, because the definition for knowing something is like having that experience, right? Your athlete has been around and they know, again, what a three-man weave is. They know what a back screen is. They know what a down screen, they know that. But do they understand? That gets to the why, right? So follow me a little bit. Knowing something is that what? Do they know what? But to understand is the why. Do they understand why you set a back screen instead of a down screen? Do they understand why the easiest way to get open is to set a screen and then you be open, right? That's a little tip for you parents to be able to help your athletes if they really want to get open. The easiest way to get open is to set a screen. The screener is always the person that's open after they set a screen. But again, now from a defensive standpoint, a lot of athletes don't understand that. So when they're screened, they get caught up and that leaves somebody open. So when I'm in a gym or coaches are in a gym, scouting, evaluating, and or recruiting, those are three totally different things. They're looking to find out, does your athlete know the game? Do they know the game of basketball? Then do they understand the game of basketball? Knowing is the what, understanding is the why. But then the third thing is now, how do they play the game of basketball? Now, playing is the how. Does that make sense? So we have what, why, how. What is knowing? How or why is understanding. What is knowing? Why is understanding. But then how is the actual play. And so in our Hoops Mastery Triple Threat, right? So I have a framework that I help athletes with, and it's called the Triple Threat, right? The Hoops Mastery Triple Threat. And we understand that it's attitude, academics, and then aptitude. So the aptitude is the play. That's the smallest part. That's why I said coaches are in the gym scouting, then they're evaluating, and then they're recruiting. They aren't going to recruit an athlete if they cannot play. Does that make sense? Right? So coaches already know, because they've scouted and they've already evaluated the talent, so they know what type of skill set they have. But now how they play, which is how they perform, right? That's the smallest piece, because as coaches, a good coach should be able to teach your athlete how to improve. They should be able to teach your athlete how to get better. But does your athlete know the game? Do they understand the game? And because a lot of athletes don't know the game and or they don't understand the game, that then affects their play. Does that make sense? I'm gonna rewind that back a little bit. Because a lot of athletes don't necessarily know the game of basketball, They don't understand the game of basketball. They can just play the game of basketball. That puts them in a deficit. And then that in turn starts to affect their confidence. That then starts to affect how their IQ, how they are seeing the game. And so where parents are running, looking for exposure and looking for recruitment, these things come in sequence. Does that make sense? So as I'm watching the NBA playoffs, just got done with March Madness, right? And I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier today, right? Well, the thing that we see with Kyrie Irving, even Steph Curry, they know the game, they understand the game. So it's shown in their play. Someone like Russell Westbrook, who I really like, and Russ has a motor unlike any other. But Russ knows the game. But Russ sometimes struggles with understanding the game, and then that affects his play. Does that make sense? If I'm making sense to anybody right now, just drop a yes in the comments. If I'm making sense to anybody, right? Because I want to be able to help the parents today. I want to be able to help the parents, and if any coaches are listening, but I really want to help the parents to understand why your athlete is probably struggling right now. A lot of times athletes struggle because they don't know the game. Most may know a three-man weave. They know the difference in the layup, right? They're not going to shoot a three-pointer and holler touchdown, right? It was an old Run DMC song. For those people that understand, Run DMC, right, said, like, I think it was "You Be Illin'," right? Like said Dr. J came down the court, round the back, finger roll, and somebody screamed, "Touchdown, you be illin'." All right, go listen to that Run DMC record. But the point that I'm making is they may know that. They may understand that. If you ever seen the movie, that Coming to America, and when Eddie Murphy, right, Prince Akeem, I believe that was his name, right? And he hollering, yes, like touchdown. They're like, dude, like we're in the garden. What are you talking about? That's somebody that doesn't know the game. They're thinking field goal, and it's three-pointer, right? They're doing this, they're thinking field goal, but it's three-pointer. But where most athletes struggle because they don't understand the game. So while a lot of parents have your kids with coaches that just drive play, the golden nugget is getting them to really understand the game, to really understand why. And now that comes with KYP, right? So it's a basketball terminology that we use, KYP, knowing your personnel, right? Knowing your personnel. So this is making sense to Coach Hatch, right? Coach Hatch is the head coach of Triton Women's College, right? Or Triton Women's Basketball Team. All right. So Coach Hatch is learning, right? Which what makes his programs one of the best in the region because he's a constant learner. Well, if your athlete's coach isn't being coached, you should probably go find him another coach. I'm gonna say that again. If your athlete's coach is not being coached, you should probably find him another coach. So KYP is called knowing your personnel. Well, if your athlete doesn't understand the game, they can just play the game. They don't really understand KYP. Meaning, if I have Dr. J or Michael Jordan or LeBron James on the wing for a three-pointer, but then I have Steph Curry open for a lob, but then I have Klay Thompson on the three-point line, who am I going to get the ball to? Am I going to throw Steph Curry the lob? Am I going to kick the ball to Michael Jordan or LeBron James for a three? Or am I going to kick it to Klay Thompson for a three-pointer? That's called knowing your personnel. Me, I'm going to probably kick it to Klay because he's in the best position. Michael Jordan, Dr. J, and LeBron James, if they're cutting to the basket, I know my personnel. I know where to give it to. I understand why giving it to them right there is putting them in the best position. But I also understand knowing why hitting Klay Thompson right there is putting him in the best position. Can Steph Curry catch a lob? Probably can. But that's not putting him in the best position. I may not understand the game. So where Russell Westbrook had some conflict this year was understanding his personnel and the system in which they put him in. But everybody was just driving, play. So as athletes now start to get into the AAU season and the spring season, it's not just about them playing, it's about them really understanding the game. When athletes can understand the psychology of basketball, they can overcome the issues and the challenges that they face on the court. Does that make sense? When they understand the psychology of the game, then they can overcome the challenges that the game brings. And that's what we do at Hoops Mastery, right? That's what we do. We help athletes really understand the psychology of the game of basketball to become their best selves, but to be able to overcome those things that the game brings. Ms. Green says she definitely understands. Right? Say she understand. We got my man E on, right? Gonna toss it back to me for the street. Well, you know, you can shoot that thing, E, right? You can. So if you're running the court, if I can get you to run the court with us and you spot up, I'm gonna definitely hit you there. I'm not gonna hit you running because I know my personnel. Does that make sense? Right? So I just wanted to drop this on you all because I want to make sure, right? I want to make sure I got one of my all-time great point guards, right? Watching also Mr. Martell Jackson, right? He understood those three things, right? Literally, he knew the game, he understood the game, and that helped him be able to play the game. So as a point guard, he was one of the most poised point guards that I ever coached, because he gained an unfair advantage over other athletes because one thing that he did, he knew how to think the game. And if your athlete isn't thinking the game, is only so far that they're going to be able to play the game of basketball on that next level. Does that make sense? So I'm about to get ready to go. I think this bell going to ring in about 7 minutes. Listen, if you haven't had a chance to check out my free case study video, right, about how to really help your athlete in this basketball terrain right now, right? We're talking about transfer portals, right? We're talking about, athletes jumping from one school to another, not getting the opportunity that they're looking for, feeling like that they're being, passed up. Well, all of that is happening because they don't necessarily understand the game of basketball, right? And what we do at Hoops Masters, we help athletes understand the game of basketball, which then allows them to play the game better, right? A lot of parents put their kids in a situation because they want to win. How do you take parents out the basket? Rise Up King, explain that. Drop that in the chat real quick one more time. I understand the first part, right? A lot of parents put their kids in a situation because they just want to win, right? They want their kid to win on the front end, but their kid wind up losing on the back end. Does that make sense? Right? They don't understand that because they're pushing them to just win through play, they end up losing on the back end. But when you say, how do you take parents out of the basket? I'm not necessarily understanding what you're saying. And if you don't, type it in the chat here, reach out to me, email, schedule a call with me, or hit me in my inbox, and, I see if we can, answer that question, right? But I want you to be able to get this information and share this information with other people that need it. But more importantly, go check out that case study video. And if I can help you help your athlete, right, become the best version of themselves by making sure that they know the game, understand the game, and then can better play the game, then reach out to me and let's hop on the call and see exactly how we can help you help them. All right. So with that being said, this is Coach Bailey. Make sure you share this with somebody that can use it and they can benefit from it. Let's see. I think my man just dropped it in. Okay, cool. Yep, he said cool. All right, y'all. So I'll talk to y'all on the flip side. If it's not making sense to you, right? I just want you to listen to this, because this really puts it in perspective. as we're on our way out. All right. Peace.
Yo, just so you understand it, this is Coach Carvel Bailey's program with the spirit of Bob Hambry.
This is Blessed to Ball, helping athletes, and we represent. Study your craft, your mentality leads to excellence. It's all about your mindset. We'll never stop addressing this, so be positive and not a pessimist. Confidence took James Harden higher. If you really want it, it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard as carbon fiber, but we got you. From counseling to workshops, we do it. You'll go farther with a scholarship. We'll help you get recruited. Yo, anyone can dribble and shoot, but it's the ones who study basketball internally that make it to Duke University. Knowledge goes around. The game is played from the neck up and not from the shoulders down. This is Blessed to Ball, helping you with obstacles. The athletes are the rocket. Blessed to Ball is the rocket fuel. If you hit a wall, we can help you slowly climb it. So keep a Mamba mentality like Kobe Bryant.
Blessed to Ball.
Cherish the opportunities that you have.
Blessed to Ball.
Use your mentality to master the craft.
Blessed to Ball.
Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play.
Blessed to Ball.
Cherish the opportunities that you have.
Blessed to Ball.
Use your mentality to master the craft.
Blessed to Ball.
Come join our team, it's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Yo, Coach Carvel Bailey. Hey, listen to your coach, man. He ain't no scrub off the street. That man got credentials, academic and street. Believe it, and my name is strategic.